Last week in Colorado, Ivan Tedesco finally took his speed and turned it into a first win, putting him past a struggling Mike Brown in the point standings. Can Brown regain the momentum that carried him for the first rounds? Or will Tedesco continue on the path to his first AMA Motocross Championship? The gate drops now on OLN. It's a beautiful day to go motocross racing at Washougal Park, the AMA Motocross Championship presented by FMF. And as usual, this telecast is presented by Parts Unlimited. So hello and welcome everyone to a beautiful day in the neighborhood. Round 8 of the 12 that will decide this 125cc championship is today the Unbound Energy Washougal National. And in this 125 class, there has been a lot of action of late. I'm Brian Drever, along with David Bailey in the booth. Aaron Bates joining us down at trackside. That man, Ivan Tedesco, has really come on strong of late. And David Bailey, a late season charge, maybe is the way to do it.
Oh, I think he's been learning as the season has been progressing so far. He's spent a lot of time at the front of the pack and starting to believe he belongs up there. And after last week's win, this confidence is the highest it's ever been for him. Broc Hepler, of course, has been fast but inconsistent so far.
Mike Alessi sits a solid third in the championship behind Mike Brown, who was passed by Ivan Tedesco, a mere 7 points in the lead in this title chase.
Man, that feeling was unbelievable. You know, never won outdoor, even a moto, and just to come across there first felt really good. And you know, all the work I've been putting in the last 5 years, finally paid off, and it felt really good. I know they always say the first one's the hardest, so hopefully I can keep this momentum going and keep on winning. And if not, just be consistent like I have been the whole series, and I can't worry about just winning. I got to just try and get as many points as I can every moto and try and win this title.
And while the fortunes of Ivan Tedesco have been on the rise of late, the man that he passed for the lead in the championship, Mike Brown, has been struggling a little bit lately as he takes to the starting line here on the number 3 machine. Let's go to Aaron Bates for more on the Mike Brown story.
It was 10 years ago here at Washougal that Mike Brown won his very first AMA motocross race. He's had a lot of ups and downs in his career since then, but this year's been a lot different. In the first 4 rounds, he's made a podium finish every single time, but the last 3 races, he's had some rough luck. Mike, you're 7 points behind the leader right now, Ivan Tedesco. How are you going to make up those points?
For sure, you got to get good starts. Last few weeks I've been starting in the back and working my way up there, and those guys are gone by the time I get up there. But yeah, no, just get some starts, and if I can get in the top 10, I'll be happy, to get up there with those guys.
What's been the difference from the beginning of the season's results to now, and how tough is it being a privateer?
It is, I think, I don't know, it's hard for sure. The guys have got good bikes, and each week, their teams is working to make their bikes better, and mine's been the same from day one, and the last 3 races I feel like I've had a few problems with my bike, but you just got to keep going. You can't expect everything from all the teams, and just keep going like I'm doing and hope for the best, really.
Well, some of those kids might be too young to remember when Mike Brown won here in 1995, but they've got a lot of reason to be happy about the number 3.
And hopefully Mike's been practicing his starts. And that's really the only problem. Speed looks fine, and of course the pressure's always there, but he just needs to get off the line with the riders like Andrew Short and Tedesco, who have been nailing the starts as of late. And this is the track, it's got to bring back some good memories for him, Brian. He's won here before, and it's a great place to get things started. There you see the lap times from practice. Everybody pretty close. Privateer Ryan Sipes in there with a 2:30, so it's possible for Brown to get up front.
Well, it's going to be an interesting race. Let's take a look at the layout here at Washougal.
Well, the layout hasn't changed too much. They've added some more whoop sections this year, and that's going to be a little bit tougher on the guys physically. But, the main thing about this track, Brian, is it's slippery, and it's really difficult to find the right lines and get everything to work out so you're not slipping and sliding everywhere. Some of the riders even electing to go with a 250 size rear tire just to try to get more rubber on the ground.
A look across the starting grid here and at the gate. Of course, some of the favored positions down in the center. Ivan Tedesco will start from pole with Mike Brown alongside. Youngster Mike Alessi is right there, so it's really a star-studded field, and it should be a very, very good race.
You mentioned Mike Alessi. He's also, at the start of the season, he was pulling all the hole shots, and he's struggled with his starts lately. So, you can say, well, what's happened to Mike Alessi? the start. It makes so much difference in this class.
Well, you hear the riders talk about it all the time. Now we're going to see it here. 125 Moto number 1 underway. And the big scramble. Oh, somebody really loose and all tank slapping down there in the middle of the field, but managed to gather it back up again. And as we look at the front of the field, it is Andrew Short, who's been getting great starts lately. He's the man out in front. Now on the number 51 machine, look at the scramble behind him.
Yeah, youngster number 35, Josh Grant, right there in second. Tedesco up there with a nice start, and it looked like one of the pro circuit riders, it might have been Tedesco, that was doing that tank slap going into the first turn. That was a great save.
Number 35, Josh Grant from Riverside, California, on the 35 machine, slotting into second position there. 2 red bikes up front, but it's very early in this one, and there is a move for the lead, not successful. It's still the 51, Andrew Short out in front.
Another thing I should have pointed out during that track map was how difficult it is to see. Going in and out of the trees, you try to find the lines in the shadows, and it's just about impossible. You just have to remember where that berm or rut was, and then you come out into the sun, and it's line in this, so difficult to see your line here at this track.
Short not having any problems right now. In fact, moving away from the number 35, Josh Grant, leaving everybody else much further back. We see Tedesco there in 4th spot on the green Kawasaki, but it is Andrew Short out in front by a big margin right now.
And this entire straightaway, this is where I was talking about they had added a loop section. Look at the guys fighting the bikes all the way through here. Yesterday they had a loop section, the typical one. They made it a little tougher. And then this morning we came out to loop at the track, and they added about 50 more yards to those things. So those are going to get tiring later on.
Here you can see very well how going in and out of the shadows is probably playing with them just a little bit. As Short is out in front, the number 35, Josh Grant, still running in second position. The 39 of Kelly Smith is third. Then it's Tedesco in the
really
black one.
Technical section right there as Short starts to check out just a little bit. Tedesco makes his move. Trying to stay with Short. He cannot afford to let him get away. The way Short attacked the first lap, Brian, I mean, he looked like he had been sitting in the truck visualizing this the whole time, because he hit every line perfect. His aggression is there. I think, you know, in the past few weeks, he's had a look at the front, and he keeps getting beat. I think this time, you can see it in his body language. He's going, I'm going to get out front and get a lead right away, and hopefully no one will catch me.
Smith on the number 39 Yamaha. Also doing a pretty good job here. The field kind of spread out behind Andrew Short, who got such a great start. He's really set everybody else back on their heels, trying to match his lap times here on the opening lap. Yeah,
and you can tell when the leader is going, riding as aggressively as Andrew is, it does spread the field out a little bit. These guys are already going, geez, what a fast pace. A guy like Millsaps right here coming up the hill behind, it looks like Kelly Smith there, one of the Smiths. And he's probably feeling like, geez, this is a lot faster pace than I had expected. And, you know, it forces people to have to pick up the pace a little bit, and that's when they make mistakes.
There's a nice battle going on for 4th spot, and it's the number 188, David Millsaps, trying to take the position. 17-year-old from Georgia on the Makita Suzuki. Teammate, so to speak, of Ricky Carmichael, as his instructions are being pondered right now. Stay on. I guess that means stay on the bike, or at least stay on the gas. How about that?
Yeah, either one of those would work, but I think he's probably trying to keep him focused on what's in front of him, you know, perhaps stay on, it depends on which rider is still in front of him. He might pass, it is Kelly Smith. He might pass Kelly Smith before he gets around to the mechanics area, but I think what he's trying to do is keep him focused on that pack ahead of him.
Stay on the bike, then stay on the gas would be the correct order. Here's Mike Alessi back in 6th position, and yes, whole shots early in the season have kind of abandoned him. Now Alessi's having to chase from mid-pack in order to get up to the front.
See that bike dancing around. Every lap through there, you're hanging on going, pretty sure I got this. But every now and then you see that back end really start to dance around. Guys are glad to get that section tackled each lap.
Alessi third in points, based largely on his early season results. Swapping ends there on the Suzuki was the number 188 Millsaps. These guys are gathering it up a little bit. So many extremely slow sections working into much faster ones. It's really difficult to get your rhythm, I imagine, on this track.
And probably the most difficult section at each lap technically is that one, because you've got to double the first two or the whole straightaway is ruined.
We'll continue with a lot of action here from Washougal. Come right on back with us. Continuing here at Washougal Motocross Park in Washington with round 8 of the 125 Championship Series. Moto number 1, Andrew Short out in front, and behind him, a pretty nice little battle developing with Broc Hepler involved.
Broc really starting to push pace. These guys can feel it, including his teammate Millsaps. Danny Smith hanging on pretty good. You know, we talked about this track being really slippery, and Danny Smith is excellent in the mud. So I wonder if there's part of the technique required to get some traction here is benefiting him a little bit, because these guys are going fast. They still haven't made a dent in his little cushion he's had over him this last few laps.
What a marvelous crowd on hand here for this 8th round of the Motocross Championship Series. They have come anticipating great racing like this.
Getting into the trees. You know, Millsaps has been the fastest of that whoop section all day long. He just needed to get closer to Kelly as they entered it. That was the only reason he couldn't make the pass before, but I noticed first thing this morning, as soon as I saw those extra whoops and watched him come through there the first lap, I knew he was going to be able to pass people through there today, and he just proved it.
Davi Millsaps taking over a position now, putting the number 39 Kelly Smith behind him. They are trying to fight back and with each other, really, for the right. And here comes Hepler inside on Smith. Is he going to make it? Yes. And, whoa, boy, he had to really take a wide line, but managed to really ram it off of there. And now he's challenging up into 5th position is Hepler, and he's coming up close to Millsaps.
Good fight by Kelly Smith to hold on to that position. I thought Hepler had it, and he still might. Wow, that's a beautiful piece of riding right there by Broc Hepler to just stay in it, not give up. He had a great idea in that corner way back there to set that all up.
Whoa! That wasn't a good idea at all there.
Right in front of his mechanic Lee going, whoa, whoa, whoa. Okay, don't read the board. Keep an eye on the racetrack, but yeah, going way back to this corner right here, he just puts the pressure on Kelly. Forces Kelly out a little bit wide, and right here, Kelly's going, okay, well, Hepler's all over me. What's he going to do next? And I like Broc's idea. He came into this corner, the next corner went wide, and it positioned him on the inside going into the next one. And, you know, he had to fight for that for a few corners before Kelly would finally give in. And I don't know if it was Kelly giving in or Broc just forcing the issue, but he finally made the pass.
In case you forgot what the leader looks like, here he is. Andrew Short has been out in front. Ivan Tedesco, however, is starting to apply some pressure. And you know that Short's lap board and his mechanic is telling him +0, as they would say in road racing. Stay on the gas because somebody's coming. And it's Ivan Tedesco who's on a streak here lately.
Yeah, it's got to be really hard for Andrew right now. And no one said this was easy, but he's riding flawless. I haven't seen a mistake by him yet. He's been aggressive. He got the start. He's fast with the whoops. I know his bike is working, and he's got plenty of horsepower, yet he cannot drop Tedesco. And he's got to be worried about what's going on with him back there. If he's just waiting until the end to make his pass. Brown way back in the pack, losing points.
Having troubles here today as we're looking at the number 8, Grant Langston, who's also doing quite well here today on the second of the Kawasaki's in the race. Langston on the number 8 machine has got his own little battle going, while up front it is Ivan Tedesco trying to make up some ground on Short. There is the number 39 Kelly Smith going for a tear-off, and he might not have picked the best time to do it because he just lost a spot.
Yeah, I don't think he expected Langston to get such a run at that roof section, but Grant set that up perfect. He came off that big jump beforehand, a little wide, squared it up, and just never let off all the way through there. It looked a little scary as he made that first little bend heading in there, knowing how slippery it is, but he got away with it.
So now Kelly Smith just trying to regroup a little bit, going into damage control. Got a problem for Mike Brown. He is not going to finish Moto 1. Taking it back to the pits, the number 3 machine has let him down in some way, or he just can't continue. Lost so many spots. You suspect a mechanical problem of sorts.
You know what? That could be it right there, Brian. That just might be the championship. There's Lee McCollum. That's Broc Hepler's mechanic. Got to be happy with the progress Broc's making, but, you know, on the other hand, he's probably like to see him get a start like Andrew had. His speed, I think he's the fastest rider on the track right now. It's just he's having to come from behind a lot.
Broc Hepler trying to go for another spot on Josh Grant. Grant on the number 35 machine. Hepler right behind him. We're looking at the battles a little bit deeper in the field, although things are starting to heat up at the front of this race, and we'll get back to that in a moment as we watch some great action here. Hepler really on a roll, And who knows, with a better start, he might be much further ahead in this race. And I would agree with you, he's one of, if not the fastest guy on the track right now.
Yeah, and you get a good idea of the distance up to the leaders, because we showed Broc entering that corner back there in the shadows. You can see the leaders just coming by the jump where these guys were. So, and there you see the gap.
Broc Hepler with a little more to celebrate here this weekend, his 19th birthday, as he has just taken the spot away from Josh Grant. As Hepler continues racing around the racetrack here, and there's the happy birthday wishes. Let's go to Aaron Bates.
Rhino, we see you spectating here this weekend. It's been a couple of races since we've seen you. What's been going on?
I forgot how to ride. You know, I've had some hand problems. My right hand's been going kind of numb when I've been riding. It's just, I continue like a bunch of injuries that I've had over the years, and just time just finally caught up to me, and it's the way it is, you know. But been feeling better. I rode last week, and it's getting a little better, so I might come back for Millville if I can.
There's still a chance we'll see you back?
Yeah, maybe finish the last 4, and then my career's done.
See you then.
Yeah, thanks.
Well, the passing of an era, so to speak, with Rhino Hughes. As we go back to the action on the racetrack, and here it is. We talked about heating up front. There you just saw a pass for the lead as Ivan Tedesco has been stalking Andrew Short for the last couple of laps. He's been sizing him up. He knows his lap times have been just a little bit better. Now he's taken the first place spot. Can he pull away?
You know, I'm surprised he made the pass at all, Brian, because when he came out of that right-hander into the whoop section, he got all sideways. It looked like he lost his drive and still made it happen. He wants it bad.
A new leader here at Washougal Park. Our Parts Unlimited flashback takes us to 1995, and it is here at Washougal Park that Mike Brown, riding the number 26, won his first ever AMA Motocross race. Bobby Raynard had won the first moto, but DNF'd in the second one. Brown battled all the way to the checkered flag, number 5, Steve Lamson, and a local rider, number 51, Jason McCormick, who finished 3rd overall. Mike Brown scoring his first ever AMA win here at Washougal Park. That Parts Unlimited flashback. Brownie probably wishing he had that kind of form and that kind of luck here this weekend, but it was not to be. 1995, Mike Brown into the winner's circle. That was 10 years ago. Here we are in 2005 as Parts Unlimited presents the AMA Motocross Series by FMF here at Washougal Park. Take a look at the pass by Ivan Tedesco for the lead. He was all over the place.
You see Andrew was able to come out of the corner, double, then triple, and skim the rest of the way out of the whoops, which is the fastest way. Ivan wasn't able to do it, yet he was still able to muscle his way through that section and manual it just right. Keep his momentum and pass Andrew. He's probably thinking, oh no, not again. It's the same guy always that has been beating him all the way through his career. And here comes Hepler now.
Into second position, or at least up behind Andrew Short, who's running in second position. Broc Hepler really on a tear. Tedesco just flashed through the picture. Here comes the number 51 Short, about to be passed. Well, at least it looks that way by Broc Hepler, the way he's heading to the front.
You know, it just looks like better lines, Brian. There goes the pass by Hepler. A little bit better lines by Hepler and Tedesco, really, that are getting the better of Andrew Short right now. Andrew's riding aggressive, and it looks like he wants it. I don't think he's fading. I just don't think his lines are as good right now.
Here is your leader, Ivan Tedesco, on the Monster Pro Circuit Kawasaki. Once he made that pass into the lead, much to the great delight of his mechanic, things have been going his way.
Yeah, he's just got so much confidence right now, and he knows that he can win. And once you know that, you start to expect it. And once you expect it, you get the starts you need, then everything works into your favor. Right there, he's able to drop out outside of the main rut and square his way back over and make his own racetrack. And again, his lines are starting to come together really well. Later in the race, it's getting better and better. Same for Hepler. Went out wide, just made a nice sweeping arc back to the inside, stayed a little bit lower through that timing section, and no problem.
Broc Hepler, another look at the pass he made into second position on Andrew Short, who is now 3rd.
Something I'm noticing, though, about Hepler is his clutch lever is bent all the way down, so he hasn't been able to use that as Tedesco gets the white flag lap. So somewhere along the line, I must have missed it, but Hepler had a problem. He's riding without a clutch right now.
Stay strong on the board for Ivan Tedesco. He's been awful strong here on the last few laps since taking the lead. There is Hepler, and there is that clutch lever hanging down. That could be causing, it is causing him a problem. a lot of the spots that he took are now being taken back. Josh Grant is looking to make another move on him here, and I think that puts Hepler back to 5th.
Good for Josh. No, it looked like he had pretty much been dropped, but fighting back into this thing.
So as things are changing in the field, let's go to Aaron Bates again.
Lee, your boy's having some problems out there. What's taking place?
I have no idea. Something happened, but I don't know what. I don't know if he had a crash or something came, you know, loose on the bike, or I don't know at this point.
He looks like it's pointing at his front wheel. Any indication?
Yeah, I don't know. I couldn't see. I've got no idea.
We'll wait and find out.
Yeah, it's a little bit frustrating for Lee, especially where the mechanics area is positioned, because they really can't see what's going on. They only see the riders just briefly. They pop into view over a jump, and the riders are so busy looking at the bumps in the corner that a lot of times they don't even see the mechanics signal.
Final lap for Ivan Tedesco out in front, and the crowd knows that barring any unfortunate circumstance, Tedesco is going to win this one. Here we go back to the battle for 3rd spot, and Josh Grant is really getting it done out there. He kind of faded midway, lost some spots, but he's recovered here at the tail end of the race. Grant Langston is the guy behind him, and this is for the final spot on the podium.
Well, he's probably glad he's had Langston in some ways to push him like this, because that helped him catch up to Hepler, and now he's just going, okay, if I can hold this guy off, that'd sure be nice. It put him in a great position for a potential overall here today.
Well, holding off a former champion like Grant Langston, no easy job. Langston alongside has the spot now, and it appears as though he will take 3rd, and it'll be Kawasaki's 1 and 3 on the podium as Ivan Tedesco comes through to win Moto number 1 here at Washougal. And yes, the streak is continuing. Tedesco's rise to the top has not slowed down.
Got to be happy about that. 3 in a row now, feeling like he's on a roll, and his teammate Langston to round out the podium. Josh Grant did a good job to fight for it, just didn't quite have enough. You got to remember who Langston is. This guy's won some world championships along the way.
He'll finish 3rd here today, but Ivan Tedesco has given Kawasaki its 97th 120.
10 years of action, 10 years of adventure, 10 years of awe-inspiring real-life heroes. OLN is
Moto 1 of the Unbound Energy Washougal National is in the books. Let's go to Aaron Bates with our winner.
Coming off now 3 consecutive moto wins, and confidence is definitely soaring here this weekend. Ivan, you just got your first overall win last weekend. You can tell that confidence is a factor for you here today.
Yeah, for sure. Confidence is huge. I think that's a big part of our sport. And just like in Supercross, once I got a few wins under my belt, it started to click for me. And hopefully the same thing happens outdoors. And, you know, this moto was good, and hopefully I can have another one, a good start, and get another overall. It'd be great.
Hey, what's making the difference? It seems that the halfway point of the season has arrived, and you are stepping it up one more notch.
I think I concentrated on Supercross too much at the beginning of the season, and by midway I started, you know, I was working really hard outdoors, and things starting to come around, and just my confidence, just everything is clicking.
Our Suzuki Moto results, Tedesco and Langston on their Kawasaki's, bookending Andrew Short, the whole shot leader on lap number 1. Josh Grant and Broc Hepler on his Suzuki, rounding out the top 5. Now let's go back to Aaron Bates with the runner-up.
Andrew Short pulling off an amazing hole shot. Andrew, you led 3/4 of that race, and then all of a sudden something kind of happened. There's a lot of swapping taking place. What actually went on?
Yeah, I started making mistakes. I got a little nervous, but I was just happy to be out front. My lap times aren't very good this morning, and my Honda got me off to a great start. So it's a good feeling, and it's fun going around that first lap in front and hear all the fans out there. It's a pretty cool feeling.
Grant Langston starting mid-pack. Grant, you made your way all the way up into 3rd place. What went on there? There's a lot going on at that point.
Yeah, I mean, just starts is really important out here. It's tough to get by people, but you know, they just spun out of the gate and didn't get the start I wanted. I was like mid-pack, I think, somewhere between 15th and 20th, and managed to nail some guys in the opening laps when they still bunched up, and just slowly but surely picked off guys. And at the end there, on the last lap, I was 5th, but I had Hepler and Grant right in front of me, and I'm like, how do you get by these guys? I worked hard. I need to get a 3rd, and just charged real hard in the last lap, got by both of them, and yeah, managed to at least be on the box.
Our congratulations to Grant, but nobody does more to protect your right to ride than the American Motorcyclist Association. Every racer on the track is an AMA member. How about you? Call 1-800-AMA-JOIN or visit AMADirectLink.com. The AMA, rights, riding, racing. Now let's take a look at some highlights from the WMA, the women's motocross.
You can see Tara Geiger lined up near the The starters box number 68, Jessica Patterson, number 1, the defending champion. Nailing the start as always.
Jessica Patterson, certainly the woman to beat in motocross racing here, is a big scramble, but the size of the field is what's so impressive. Little problem there at the back. Jessica Patterson battling with Tara Geiger the entire moto here in the number one position. Tara Geiger on the 68 bike.
The more I watch these girls, the more I forget they're girls. And their style, the technique, and the intensity that they're riding with these days, they've taken it to a whole nother level. It was Patterson who was able to weather the storm. Geiger made the pass at one point but fell, and it was Patterson that picked up the overall.
And she leads the championships. Coming up, moto number 2 for the men. Stay with us. The Unbound Energy Washougal National, part of the AMA Motocross Series by FMF. Now, before we start moto number 2, let's go to Aaron Bates for a report.
Well, as you just saw on moto number 1, Broc Hepler off to a great start, moving himself all the way up into 2nd place, but right around the 2nd to last lap fell back to 5th place. We didn't know what was wrong. I went and talked to Roger DeCoster at Suzuki. What had taken place is the braking system in the front wheel. Something had gone wrong. It had broke. They've replaced it. Hopefully it's all prepared for moto number 2. But just when luck was bad, it got even worse for Mike Brown. You saw him pull off in the first moto. Back to the pits he went. They've replaced an entire motor here for moto number 2. Hopefully it's all going to come together. I know he's a little bit discouraged right now, trying to get it all back together, whether it's him, whether it's the bike. We wish him the best of luck here for moto 2.
He's in a pretty deep hole right now. Besides losing all those points, he's going to have to start from way on the outside. His chance at a good start in this moto is slim.
Run starts, by his own admission, have been a problem. He's made his situation even worse with the DNF. Of course, it was a mechanical DNF. Nothing he could do about that. With the new engine, we'll see if he can pull it together here for this one. As we get ready for moto number 2, certainly the man on the move in that first one was Broc Hepler. It'll be really interesting to see how well he performs, especially if he gets a better start. The gates are up, and the gates are down. We're underway here as the big scramble to turn number 1. Who comes out in front? A couple of red bikes again. And wow, what a great battle. It is Andrew Short for the 2nd time today getting another great hole shot.
And the rider in the blue right there, number 123, is Brett Metcalf, who was riding the 125 all up until the last round. He's going, hey, I like these 4-strokes. It's the first time he's seen a look at the front all year long.
In 3rd position, behind the number 51, who's getting a challenge very quickly here from the number 35, Josh Grant. So a couple of the players from moto number 1 are playing again here in the 2nd time around.
Andrew's got to feel like, okay, if I lose this one, man, then maybe I'm just never going to win one, because he's got the opportunity right here. Hepler, who faded back to 5th with that front brake problem towards the end, it was actually hanging off. And he's lucky that didn't get caught in the front wheel and cause more problems than it did. But Tedesco is nowhere in sight right now, or at least not close enough to be a challenge for Andrew Short. All he's got to do is beat Tedesco, and he should be able to get this overall.
Tedesco in 5th spot, if my eyes are not deceiving me. It is Short out in front. The number 35, Josh Grant, in 2nd position. He's getting some serious pressure from Broc Hepler, the birthday boy, on the number 60 bike in 3rd spot. And then you can see the rest of the field as Hepler on the move again here in moto number 2.
In and out of the shadows, and since it's been a while since their first moto, the shadows have changed a little bit. So never-ending challenge here at Washougal. Beautiful layout, great dirt. Doesn't get much more spectacular in terms of the facility than this one, but it is slippery.
Well, a natural outdoor motocross course of this quality is what these riders like to ride, what they enjoy. Of course, it is still a challenge. You can't just go out there and ride. You have to beat somebody. The idea is to win. Here is Hepler. He got close a couple of times to Josh Grant, but hasn't been able to put a move on him just yet. So you go from sort of muddy and wet conditions out into the sunshine where it's much drier and dustier as the day goes on. Yes, things are changing here at Washougal.
Hepler's line still coming together really well. The way he's just exploding out of the corners, just hopping and floating into the next one. He's got a lot of confidence to be laying the bike over as far as he is everywhere, because that's sketchy business up here. You can see all the where they leave a little skid mark. Anytime they get down underneath that like top 1.5 inch crust, it's just like riding on a bar of soap.
The mechanics signal area is a flurry of activity very briefly as they come by. As you mentioned, the mechanics area not the best vantage point. The riders get a chance to see what the mechanics have to say. Mechanics don't get much of a look at the riders. Here we have a nice challenge. It is Tedesco coming up on the 123, Brett Metcalf, who had that great start, but now he's lost a couple of spots.
That's where it's nice to have a little extra horsepower. Mitch Payton doing a heck of a job to make sure that these bikes are fast. And see another one of his teammates back there. I can't tell if that's Langston or not, right back behind him. So pro circuit bikes got a lot of power. It's the big uphill drag race. Probably a little bit of power and technique, being able to keep that rear wheel on the ground and get a good drive up the hill. Tedesco looked like he wanted that position as bad as his bike did.
Well, he's got it. Ivan Tedesco now has 3 riders in front of him. The first, the number 60, Broc Hepler. Behind him, it's Brett Metcalf hanging in there. And as Ivan Tedesco tries to run down the leaders, you should get a pretty good look here. There you can see that Hepler just went through the corner. And through the whoop section here, that's the gap from Ivan Tedesco up to 3rd place in a possible podium spot.
Now he's got everybody in sight. Andrews, he's up there leading this thing again. Look how sideways they're getting through that whoop section. There's a big rut down the middle now, and the riders are starting to get out of that rut. It's so hard to keep their balance and stay in it. But Tedesco's close enough to Andrew to be able to pull off this overall win, but as you can see from his body language and how aggressive he is right now, he can't waste any time at all.
Brett Metcalf on the number 123. We go to the leader, Andrew Short. Behind him, the number 35, Josh Grant. So Honda's running 1 and 2. Then it's Hepler on the 60 bike. Here comes Tedesco, Metcalf, and the rest is the number 188, Davi Millsaps, running in 6th position, but just oh so close to 4th. We'll be back right after this. Parts Unlimited presents the telecast of AMA Motocross by FMF here at Washougal Motocross Park. Yeah, the Honda fans are cheering out in front. Here is Broc Hepler in 2nd position and the number 35, Josh Grant, 3rd. What happened while we were away, you ask? Well, a pass, obviously, for the number 2 spot, as Ivan Tedesco is now coming up behind Grant for 3rd, and 3rd, along with his win in Moto number 1, should give Ivan Tedesco the overall. Well, that depends on a lot of things happening here, as Tedesco is now in 3rd spot. Let's take another look at the pass by Broc Hepler.
This kind of caught Josh by surprise. Everybody comes into that left-hander back there, and they try to square it up a little bit to get a run at those 5 bumps. And while Josh was setting up, Hepler just rode right around him. So beautiful move. Hepler really doing some good thinking out there. He's got Roger DeCoster in his camp and Rick Johnson possibly to help him out with some of the line selection here. It's paying off.
Josh Grant on the number 35 machine back in 4th position right now. Great starts by both him and Andrew Short on the Hondas. And then it's damage control from that point on, trying to hold on to the spots that they gain off the start. No problem getting away from the gate. It's just holding on the big course here at Washougal.
Kind of towards that part of the moto now also where they're a little bit tired. It's tough to focus. Well, you know, there's been plenty of wear and tear. They've been riding this track for 2 days, and that's a spot where you can make a mistake right there, and Josh does. Not able to jump to that timing section is good, and there goes Tedesco.
Ivan Tedesco up into 3rd position, and this is where he needs to be to take the overall win, considering how things are standing right now, as we go once again up to the leader, Andrew Short. And this time, he's got enough of a gap over Broc Hepler where he might be able to hang on, but Hepler has been so strong in Moto number 1, and again here in Moto number 2, not discounting any possibilities.
Well, it's the way it sits right now. Tedesco has got to make one more pass, or he's got to hope that Hepler passes to the lead, because 2-1 would give Short the overall right now, and so Tedesco's either got to pass Hepler or hope Hepler makes the pass, one or the other. I mean, it's looking good for the championship and the points and all that. He did get a first moto win, but the overall could go to Andrew Short if things stay like this.
The way Broc Hepler is riding up front, however, it might go Ivan Tedesco's way. You're absolutely right. It's going to take Hepler moving into the lead and Andrew Short back to 2nd in order for the combination to work in Ivan Tedesco's favor for an overall. Here's Josh Grant in 4th spot. He's coming under some pressure now from the number 188, Davi Millsaps. Millsaps getting closer.
There's the mistake by Josh Grant. He wasn't able to come out of the corner and double. If you come out of the corner and double, just like Millsaps behind him, you can triple the next 3, and then it kind of sets you up on top of the rest, and you skim your way out, just like they do in Supercross. And he messed up that first double in the shade right there. He spun a little bit, and they just ruined the rest of the whoop section, and Tedesco had it timed perfect. That's where he made his pass with the lead in the first moto, so he's got that section wired.
Out into the sunshine now, but indeed coming in and out of the shadows as the shadows grow longer is part of the problem. The course is getting rutted up to different spots, and there you can see.
Whoa.
Oh, that's a fucking Bronco ride.
Whoa. Josh Grant's probably like, you know what, go ahead, baby. Did you see that?
Let me get everything gathered up here. You go ahead.
Yeah. You know, like I said, it's that time of the race where, you know, your body's starting to feel it. Even though these guys train, they still get tired. You know, I mean, if you're not tired, you're just not trying hard enough. And I think, I don't know if Josh is that tired or not, but mistakes are starting to come, and that one almost put him down.
Here comes Broc Hepler. Ivan Tedesco, if he could see this, would be cheering probably louder than anyone else. If Hepler's able to make the pass, it could give Tedesco, will give Tedesco the overall if things stay the same. But Andrew Short has done such a great job. You have to feel for this kid. He gets out there, he leads. He said he loves hearing the crowd. Now you got Broc Hepler behind you, and he is definitely coming.
You know, Andrew's probably like, come on, Broc, let me have it. You know, he's worked so hard. He got the stars. He's riding aggressive, and you know, Broc's not going to win the overall. It's a moto win, and you know, you can't blame him for trying. But you got to, like you said, you got to feel for Andrew right now, going, man, I sure like to just be able to get a moto win and an overall and get it out of the way, just like Tedesco had it last round. You know, it helps you so much once you get that first one out of the way, and it's still been eluding.
Oh, there it is. The pass for the lead, but Short holds on to it in the right-hander with position on the second of those 2 turns. But Broc Hepler sizing him up. Andrew Short knows he's there now. Here comes the block pass. And just like that, Broc Hepler takes the lead.
And clean, too. You know, because these guys have had a couple of run-ins back at the Houston Supercross and back again at Budds Creek National. Hepler went inside of Andrew Short, put them both down. And that pass, you had to expect him to run in on the inside like that and force the issue, but he didn't touch him. Good to see that.
Squeaky clean, if you could call it that, racing in the dirt. And Broc Hepler has the lead. Andrew Short is still fighting, though, and he's got an inside spot. Pulls up alongside. We'll continue to watch while you watch these important messages. The action has been awful good, continues to be good. Let's go back a little deeper in the field. 6th, 7th, and 8th position here. Paul Carpenter and Ryan Sipes have been battling. They've caught the number 35, Josh Grant. Look at this.
I thought Carpenter had that pass made, Brian, and Josh said, nah, I don't think so. Because Josh has been, yeah, it's hard to say if he got tired or he just had a lap where he just, yeah, things didn't come together. He took a breather or something, but Sipes and Carpenter have been battling. You see Sipes broken free now up in the 6th spot, and I thought Carpenter had this pass made. Maybe this is the one that's going to stick.
And indeed, it looks like Paul Carpenter has moved up into 7th spot. Josh Grant is just sliding back through the field. Had been running as high as 2nd in this race behind the number 51, Andrew Short, off the start. In both motos, in fact, he was doing extremely well and then losing positions late in the race. Speaking of Short, here he is, running well in 2nd. He had such a big lead. Only Hepler was able to catch it. He should be able to hold on for 2nd in this moto.
And he's like, yeah, that's great and all, but not going to win the overall again. And it's probably pretty tough for him at this point to go back to the Honda pit, look at Jeff Stanton and Eric Kehoe, the mechanic, and Cliff White, and all the guys and go, and sorry. I know the bike is great, and I'm getting the starts, and you guys are doing what you need to do to get me out front. I'm having a hard time staying there, but if he keeps trying and knocking on the door like he has been, he'll get that win.
And Grant Langston, while Broc Hepler is doing so well, Grant Langston is really having a tough outing here. And he's way back deep in the field. Here is your 2nd place runner. There's the gap between 1st and 2nd. From 2nd back to 3rd place, Ivan Tedesco, not very far. As we are on the final lap now, there may or may not be enough time for Tedesco to move into 2nd.
Well, you think, you know, hey, if Andrew can hold off Tedesco, you know, doesn't that 2nd moto break the tie? Well, yes, it does, except that first moto, really hard effort that Tedesco put in to get the moto win. That's 1 extra point. So I've learned that the hard way. Happy birthday, Broc. That first moto didn't go so good. We tried with that sign the first time, maybe a little early, but yeah, the 2-2 And the 3-1, I've had that, you know, been on a day with Rick Johnson and Jeff Ward. They each went 3-1, 1-3. I finished 2-2. Figured, well, at least it's second overall. Now I got third. So that extra point for the win really helped.
And the wishes for Ivan Tedesco, and it seems as though if he runs where he is right now, at least his mechanic's pretty sure that's going to be an overall win. That's the way we figure it as well. As we take a look a little bit deeper in the field, the 122 Matt Walker out of McDonough, Georgia. Here's Carpenter in 6th.
Finally got around Sipes. He's putting together his best moto up in 6th, so drops to 7th. First moto Ryan ever rode of his pro career last year at Mount Morris, he finished 7th. So equaling that performance, but much closer to leaders this time.
Broc Hepler is your leader here in Moto number 2, and he deserves this win. His effort through the course of 2 motos has been extremely good. And for Broc Hepler to put a performance together like this, come oh so close to taking not only moto wins, but an overall victory. Very, very fine performance by Broc Hepler.
Probably going, man, if I could have just held on that last couple of laps of the first moto, and he did. It was an amazing job he did to ride around with that front brake caliper dangling. Luckily, it didn't go into the front wheel, like I said before. That could have been a disaster, but still, just enough to cost him an overall. You know, but despite those problems, to be able to cap off the day with a moto win, you know, at least he did all he could do.
Well, not only that, we know the brake problem was the almost terminal one, but he had the clutch lever dangling down on the left side. Clearly some real problems as Broc Hepler puts all that behind him as well as the rest of the field here in moto number 2. He picks up the win in the second moto of the day at Washougal. Third place, Ivan Tedesco is going to take the overall just behind Andrew Short, who finishes runner-up on this one. And there you see Davi Millsaps and Matt Walker rounding out the top 5 in our Suzuki Moto results. Mike Brown with a 10th place finish. You will not see Grant Langston or Mike Alessi, rather Jeff Alessi in 14th position. His brother Mike finished 21st, and a tough outing for Grant Langston as well. Our Honda highlight, certainly for Moto number 1, has to be Ivan Tedesco making the pass for the lead to clinch his overall win.
Yeah, just a powerful move to that whoop section. He didn't have the right timing, but he just muscled his way through there, kept the rear wheel on the ground, and made it work anyway into the second moto. Hepler just taking a look up the inside and eventually forcing Andrew Short a little bit wide down here in this left-hand corner. Just goes, dives to the inside, doesn't touch him, clean pass to the lead, Moto 2.
Well, Andrew Short, the victim in both cases here, as Broc Hepler putting a great performance in Moto number 2. There's your overall winner, Ivan Tedesco, as he is heading for victory lane. Let's hear from Broc Hepler.
This marks his 4th moto win. Broc Hepler, the first moto didn't go quite as planned for you. The second moto, you were able to pull it all around and pull it together again.
Yeah, I mean, we just had a little mishap there in the first moto, and I was running really good then. But, you know, these fans were really cheering me on here at Washougal, and I pulled through and did it in the second moto.
Here are the overall results. Ivan Tedesco going 1-3, better than Andrew Short's pair of runner-up finishes. Josh Grant rounding out the top 5. And Grant Langston, look at that, 26th in Moto number 2.
Well, now taking his second consecutive overall win, Ivan, you can tell your confidence was soaring coming into this race, and you excelled the whole way through. You did it again.
Yeah, it feels great. You know, that first one was always the best, but, you know, this weekend feels great here at Washougal. And, you know, I rode good all weekend, except that second moto, I wasn't quite on it. Broc and Andrew rode really well that moto, and, you know, I just hung in there for third to get the overall, and it feels great.
Hey, is it true that once you get the first overall win under your belt, things seem to flow a little bit easier for you?
I think so. You know, this weekend was easier than last week, so you know, hopefully I keep it rolling and you know, win this championship. Thanks a lot.
Well, he's on his way, has extended his lead over Mike Brown with all kinds of misfortune here. Look at that, 41-point advantage, came in with 7 points, goes out with a huge lead. And how about Andrew Short, third of the championship, is close.
Well, he was able to get the whole shot, both motos. Andrew, you were able to take the lead there for quite some time, both of those motos today. What ended up happening? It looks like you lost a little bit of steam halfway through.
Yeah, I just went for it, and my Honda got me off to 2 great starts, and that was a good feeling. And I went for it, everything I had. Those guys were stronger than me, and they rode better than me. And it was a good day for me overall, though. I finished 2-2, so I'm pretty happy about that, and it was a good day.
Well, a good day for Andrew, a great day for us. Seriously fine racing here at Washougal.
And it looks like it's Tedesco's championship to lose now, Brian, and I think there's a lot of people rooting for Andrew to get his first win.
Well, we leave you with some images from Washougal Park 125. For David Bailey and Aaron Bates, I'm Brian Drever. So long, everybody.